Okay, guys, look, we've had a decent start so far. That's really pleased with the start, but we've got to kick on now, okay? This is my home race. It's very important to me. I've got friends and family in the crowd, and I don't need you two clowns making me look like a fool. Hi guys, I'm Aussie Villain and welcome back to Kicking Haas. Today we have my home Grand Prix, the Australian Grand Prix in Melbourne, and we are on the back of a stunning start to the year for Logan Sargeant. 2 fourth place finishes, has our second in the Constructors, and has him third in the Drivers' Championship. Now I think with the Verstappen-Leclerc Red Bull partnership, they can sail off into the sunset, but we are fighting for second and in the Constructors and third in the Drivers. I would be shocked. I would be absolutely shocked if that continues. But let's hope it does. It would be amazing if it does. I think as long as we can, well, we've been coming fourth, haven't we? So if we can hold on to that, that would be really incredible, actually. And if Sargeant can get top 6, I think that's realistically speaking quite decent, isn't it? Now, we haven't quite been able to get anything new on the car for this one. If you go and have a look at car development, the rear and front wing that we're researching will be done basically after this race weekend. So we should, if we emergency manufacture, and we have 12 million in the bank, so we should be able to do that. We should have that on the car for the next race. So let's keep our fingers crossed for that. But yeah, basically we've still got the same car that we started the season with. If we go and have a look at drivers, Logan Sargeant has got himself a development point, so we'll go and stick that onto smoothness for him. I think we've just seen, I think if he can get his tyre life a little bit better, I think it will help him in the races. Now there's nothing for Crawford, but there is a development point for Kalen Frederick. I don't think it really matters where we put it on to him, because he's never going to make Formula 1, is he? But let's hope we can make him the best he can be. Now, we've got a decision to make this season on our technical chief in Simone Resta. Now, there's only 2 other guys that are better than him, so I think we will just look to keep him. I'll show you, actually, so that you're not just taking my word for it. Yeah, Simone Resta is the 3rd best there is. It's Ferrari and Red Bull's guys that are ahead of us. They're not going to come to us, I don't think, and I don't really see a sense in changing him, that being the case. So yeah, I think we will just, in all likelihood, just look to re-sign him. But as ever, open to feedback on that. But doesn't really make sense to get rid of him, does it? But we do have a development point on our good race engineer. So again, we'll stick that into pit crew management, get that up as high as we can. And yeah, that is all very good. The pit crew is it's getting there. Slowly but surely it's getting there. We'll just see how that goes. And there was nothing really else to catch you up on, I don't think. So let's have a look at what we're doing this race weekend. There is the Albert Park circuit. It is what it is, I suppose, isn't it? It's Albert Park. Red sector 1, blue sector 2, yellow sector 3. We can see it is, for the most part now, a very flowing track. A couple of slow speed traction zones, but generally speaking, top speed, high speed and low speed corners is what we need. Time considerations, 8 seconds is the loss for a safety car or virtual safety car. So if one comes out, you're almost worth just coming in the pits just for the sake of it, to be honest. Expected strategy, 1 stop, whether you do medium, hard, medium. 2 mediums and a hard seems a bit of a silly thing. If you're going to do an extra stop, surely you would use a soft tyre. And the compound performance, we can see there, the soft tyre drops off quite quickly, and is actually not that much quicker, relatively speaking, than the medium or the hard. So yeah, you're only going to want to do a soft tyre if there is a safety car late in the race, I would imagine. This time last year, K-Mag came in second for us. Sargeant was 14th, so let's hope that Sargeant can take over from K-Mag on that front. Historically, Sainz, Verstappen have been the winners of this one. So let's have a look at our performance targets here. Reach Q2, with that with both cars. Let's hope Sargeant can get there, reach Q1 with, or 8th, or better, and reach Q3 with 1. So we'll try that. Sargeant's been relatively good in qualifying. I don't want to push for a fastest lap, but we'll, if we get it nice. Someone in the top 8, I mean, that'll be Sargeant, realistically speaking. We're not going to get 2 drivers in the top 10 3 races in a row this season. I'd be absolutely shocked. But we can get someone in Q3 for 4 races, and that will be Sargeant if it's going to happen. And let's hope that he can do it for me in front of my home crowd. All right, let's head off to Melbourne. Alright, so confirmation of a dry weekend. Quickly though, I did need to mention that I've started up a Facebook, Aussie F1 Facebook page. There's a link to it in the description. So if you don't have Discord and you want to see a similar sort of thing that I post on there, then yeah, go and join that. Should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to seeing everybody on there. Alright, I'm going to do free practice and I will see you for qualifying. Alright, free practice is done, and when I said in the intro, don't make me look like a fool, they paid absolutely no attention. Let's have a look at how we've done. FP1, you'll notice Sargeant has a penalty. He ran up the back of Crawford, knackered Crawford's gearbox, and Crawford had to retire from the session as well. So, yeah, that didn't go particularly well, and Sargeant's got himself a penalty. On paper, that looks pretty good for Sargeant there, and we have Crawford all the way down. Here's, as I said, gearbox is knackered. I didn't want to use a new one for free practice, but yeah, that explains a lot of his lack of pace, I would suspect. And then FP3, again, Sargeant inside the top 10 comfortably, which is good to see, and Crawford somewhat ignore that, as I say, because of the gearbox situation. If we go and have a look at this, we've got our 3-place grid penalty for Sargeant. Well done, you muppet. Need to get the clown outfit back out, don't we? So the other downside to all this is that we don't have a setup yet. So I think I've got close to it, but we're not actually going to know. So yeah, that's all good. And the other thing I wanted to do is go and fix car parts as well, because we're of course going to try and just knacker out one set completely and then use the other two for the races. So yeah, that is that, and I'll show you Crawford's gearbox so you can get an idea of how knackered it was. What do we want here? He's in the same situation. I mean, he missed pretty much a whole session, so yeah, it's not going well. You can see he's knackered his engine as well. Jesus Christ, Sargeant. Yeah, so that's not great, is it? That's really not great. Gearbox is absolutely destroyed. And the ERS, I'm sure that took some damage as well, did it? What do I want to do? I want to go back here. And yeah, it's maybe a little bit more destroyed than it should be. But that's why we have special ones for free practice, isn't it? Alright guys, I'm going to do Q1. I think we'll be okay here. Crawford is always going to be a little bit doubtful. But yeah, well, we'll see how we go, won't we? Alright, we are back for Q1. We are currently on board with Crawford, who is currently out in 16th. Only a smidge out, though. We've got Sargeant relatively safe in 8th, but you can see there's only about a 3/10 of a second gap. So what I didn't want to do was find him in a position where he's not out on track and misses out. But green sectors for both. You can see the track grip is improving all the time, so that's why he's out here. Monaco Grand Prix was decent, wasn't it? For once. Just they could just add rain every week. It'd be or every year, I should say. Monaco might be worth keeping.
Like we've had a spin.
Bottas has spun, and Bottas is maybe in a little bit of trouble, actually. 2 green sectors, though, for Crawford. He needs to get ahead of Ricciardo, and can he do it? No, he's out. He's 17th and out. So Crawford eliminated. That is obviously disappointing, but Sargeant's through. Let's go and do Q2. Alright, here we go on board with Logan Sargeant for our second run. We are last car on track, and I believe it's K-Mag that's in front of us. Leclerc is currently outside the top 10, so you would imagine that Leclerc is going to get himself back in. So that is potentially someone putting us down to 9th then. Bottas in a Mercedes is usually quite quick, so we're maybe looking at 10th right now, so we do need to do a fairly decent lap here. Let's see what Logan's got. Has not gone faster in the middle sector. He is now outside and looking in. He's got a 3-place grid penalty to come as well, of course. Is he going? He's dropped down a little bit further again. He was on used tyres for that first run. The second run, is it enough? Oh, he has snuck in 10th. So yeah, he was slower than in Q1, but ultimately he did enough to get through the exact same time as Bottas. Only a smidgen, look at that, behind Russell, Ocon and Gasly. And not that far off of Magnussen as well, who's right up there in 5th. So let's see how high he can get himself up here. Alright, so here we go. Now, Sargeant is currently 10th. I'm fairly sure he got blocked by, I think it was Leclerc it was through this part of the track on his quick lap, albeit on used tyres. So hopefully, you know, we've got the fresh ones on now. This is his main lap, and he'll be able to do a little bit better. And of course, as I say, 3 places he's got to drop down the grid, so as high as he can get up will just sort of lessen where he has to start from. If he can get to 7th, then we'll sort of be better off. We'll start from 10th, basically. So let's see what he can do. He's done 2 green sectors. Verstappen is not going any quicker. Bottas hasn't gone quicker either. Come on, Logan. How far up can you get yourself? Can he surprise us with 4th again? Come on, Logan. What's he done? Logan Sargeant is 6th. We'll take that, won't we? So yeah, his fastest lap in qualifying. We will start 9th. 3 places should be 1, 2, 3, shouldn't it? So yeah, could have been a lot worse, but it's actually his worst qualifying of the season, I think. 6th, isn't it? Which is a good thing to say. And of course, K-Mag up there in 3rd as well. Well done to him. Alright, let's have a look at strategy here. Do we just do the medium onto a hard? That's really, really marginal, isn't it? Particularly for someone like Sargeant, who does struggle to make the tyres go the distance. Alright, so I think we don't have 2 sets of new mediums, but we do have a new soft. So if we eke out these tyres as much as we can, and then go on to a soft later on, that might work. Or the alternative... No, I think we're better off there, aren't we? Because everybody else is going to be on the aging tyres. So let's do that with him. We really do need to get him to, to get his tyre life extended a little bit. Now, can Crawford do it? No, he's in the same boat. So I think we do the same thing on both cars, don't we? We'll 2-stop both of them. We'll do the soft tyre at the end. And then I think, too, what that could mean is that if we're in a situation where there's some safety cars or whatnot, we might be able to then sort of make it into a 1-stop if we go as long as we can on the medium. Yeah, and then leave us a little bit of flexibility come the end of the race as to exactly how we want to go about this. But that is that. I don't think we can take penalties with Crawford because we still have engine parts that haven't been used. So there's not much I can do about that unless we want to use them all a little bit, which we could do, I suppose. But anyway, let's see how this race goes. Hopefully it'll be a good one for us. Okay, welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah, I mean, it was unbelievable. It was exactly the same if you watched the Miami race last year. Sargeant did the exact same thing, just ran straight up the back of Crawford, and he's knackered his gearbox and engine, so that's going to potentially cost us down the line of the season as well. And, of course, gave himself the 3-place drop. But he's already moved up 1 place. Crawford's up to 15th. He's had a cracking start. Now, what sort of tyres are we looking at for everybody here? For the most part, everybody's on a medium. There's Norris, Stroll, and well, both Williams at the back that are on a hard tyre. So everybody's on a similar strategy. As Crawford's up to 14th. What has he had for breakfast? He's had his Wheat Bix. Or his Vegemite, maybe, if he's in Australia. Can he go and get another move done? He is Jack Crawford, Angry Man. He's actually doing okay in Formula 2 this year in real life if you've been paying attention to it. He's got a couple of podiums in Formula 2, so I don't know if he's going to be good enough for Formula 1, to be honest, but he is still really young, of course. So to be, he must be 17, maybe 18, and competing in Formula 2, it's not bad, is it? It's not bad at all. Although his podiums have, I think, and I could be corrected, it been in the reverse top 10 sprint races, but still. It shows that he's up there. I don't know that he's as good as Logan Sargeant in real life, though. But like I say, I will stand to be corrected. Looks as though we're in a little bit of a train just now. So DRS is about to become active. And yeah, well, we'll have to just see how this race develops. But 6th and 14th, Crawford is moving forward. So, lap 8, and Crawford puts a move on local hero Denny Rick. DRS assisted, but still, that's 13th now for Crawford. Alright, so the race has settled down somewhat. K-Mag up there. It's so good to see him still up there, isn't it? His Alfa Romeo's just taken the lead. Crawford and Ricciardo are sort of by themselves. They're going back and forth, DRSing each other down straights and getting past. And Sargeant is looking fairly strong in 8th as we've got some pit stops starting here. New fastest lap of the race for Sargeant as well, which is nice to see. And yeah, so that is Bottas behind that has come in. And yeah, so Sargeant is doing okay. So far, so good. And yeah, Crawford is keeping pace with Ricciardo. So we'll see if there's going to be any other pit stops right now. So if Bottas is in there, you would imagine that's a 2-stop, isn't it? That'll be medium, hard, medium, which was what the AI sort of default strategy was. So we should have... Well, we will have a tyre advantage because we're going onto the soft tyre at the end. Now, we know it degrades, but it is also quicker. So, and we also didn't save a set of mediums in free practice. So that makes the decision a bit easier as well. But yeah, this is going not too bad so far. Let's hope we don't have any more free practice incidents, Logan. Alright, so we are about to enter our pit windows here, or our pit stops. This will be the lap for Sargeant to come in. He has lacked pace big time. We can see here that Vettel and Giovinazzi are right behind him. We have also seen, we might need to just be a little bit more aggressive on this lap, I think. We've also seen a couple of cars around us pit. Now we are in danger of being undercut by Gasly, I think it is. In the Alpine, though, they are themselves stuck in a little bit of a traffic jam back there. We've got the right time for you to come in, Mr. Crawford, so we'll make that stop. It's a 2.9 second stop for Sargeant, and he comes out. Is that Bottas? He's going to come out behind Bottas. He's going to come out ahead of Gasly. No, he's been undercut by Gasly as well. So yeah, that is not ideal. Crawford, I said I wasn't going to push him on tyres, didn't I, at any point? So let's not do that. Let's sort of see what lap he can come in on. Sorry, where he can come out, I should say. We're just lacking a little bit of pace, to be honest. If we can get that to go down. Your Sargeant was doing 24s, and you can see everybody else is doing 23s. So, yeah, just didn't quite have the pace on the end of his tyre life there, as everybody's now coming into the pit. So this will be good to see where Sargeant does come out. And as I've said before, I don't want to push them, because I think this season is going to be all about just trying to get as many points as we can. Can we get down the outside of Vettel there? Oh, overtake, deploy something. Get him, Sargeant. Get him, get him, get him, get him, get him. No. We couldn't get him. I missed how long Sargeant Crawford's stop was. He's down in 19th, though, so potentially not great. He's now out of battery, but that should be enough to get the move done. We'll have DRS down the next straight, although we might find ourselves... Oh, are we in front or behind there? No, we're going to lose out to Vettel. So we're going to have to just sit in here. Couple more stops to come. But yeah, we are not the fastest car at all. We're not going to get fourth this race, I don't think, as we get a nice draft DRS assisted on Vettel there. But yeah, Gasly in front is significantly quicker than us. Everybody has made at least one stop. The Williams kind of stopped. What are they doing up there? Have they stopped? No. So Norris and the Williams have not stopped yet. So potentially we move 3 places forward, which is 10th and a point. Not what we've become used to with Sargeant, perhaps what we need to become used to. Alright, well, we owe a big debt of gratitude to these guys that are on the one stop, Norris and Stroll and Mick Schumacher, because what they've done, you can see here, they've held up a massive train. It's allowed us to catch right up to the back of them with Sargeant. And if we can get some moves done relatively quickly here, which being in a DRS train maybe won't happen. But given that we've got a soft tyre coming at the end, the closer we can stay to this is obviously the better. Actually, I wonder if we should be harvesting. Let's jump on board and maybe do a little bit more micromanagement here. If we harvest while we're stuck behind these guys, and then we can maybe look to do some deploy laps once things sort of open up a little bit in front of us, because this DRS train is going to sort of hold everybody where they are. So we'll use this opportunity to charge our batteries, and yeah, hopefully we can use a little bit of race strategy here to push ourselves up this order a little bit more. Okay, so those cars have now come in. We've got a little bit of battery power there. We've still got Mick Schumacher in front of us, which is down to the fact that obviously Williams can't really double stack. So we'll use a bit of overtake here as Vettel sticks his nose up the inside where we don't want it, and see if we can get a move done. Go away, Vettel, mate. Go away. Haven't you retired? Oh, and Crawford has spun. Well, it's not going to cost us anything in the grand scheme of things, but it is still very frustrating. He was behind Tsunoda, and he's just lit up the rears, hasn't he? So that is, yeah, one of those very, very frustrating things we're just going to have to learn to live with for this season, I suspect. So we are back up into 10th. Can we get a move done here somewhere, please? And thank you. If we could get Bottas down this straight with our overtake. I wonder if we could dare dream of a double overtake into the whatever the number corner is at the end of the straight here. Let's go back to neutral. It's not really happening for us. Yeah, as I said, we've got soft tyres to come, which will be good at the end, but we need to... How are we doing on tyre life here? We could probably afford... I don't want to push him though too much because we know he's got a mistake in him. Anyway, we'll see how we go from here. Alright, Bottas is coming in to make his final stop. Vettel has gotten past us, and the issue we're going to have here is that Gasly might drive away from us a little bit. George Russell is there, but if we look at lap times up here, we're back in the 24s again. We're not quick enough. So if we can take any points from this race, that's going to be a nice little bonus for us. I'm thinking, I know I said I shouldn't do it, but I'm thinking I will push Sargeant on a little bit here because we're not going to score points, I don't think, if we don't do this. So, yeah, I think we kind of need to. And Crawford, I mean, he's in a similar boat, isn't he? We'll push him on as well because there's no point not doing it, really, because he's right at the end. So we are going toward the back, I should say. We get the move done there on Sebastian Vettel at 21. That's a little bit more like it. Yeah, and then we've just got to kind of get somewhere near that pit window. Now, could we dare dream of closing the gap up on Gasly and Russell here? We'll wait and see. Crawford's doing 22.8, which is basically the same as Zoe. It's quite slow though on a used hard tyre, to be expected, I think. Now these other two stoppers will come in sooner than us because they will want to put on their mediums, which will be obviously last a little bit longer, but won't have that same sort of top speed that we should get. 22.3, so that's a better lap time now. Of course we can't. Maybe we can go on like this. Maybe we do have just enough on the hard tyre to be able to push and make it to the stop. The question, of course, is can Sargeant keep it on the road doing this? But we're definitely catching those two in front, aren't we? Alright, we are entering our pit window, 10 laps to go. Now, nobody else has come in, which makes me think that nobody else is going to make a second stop other than the two Mercedes. Yeah, so we're coming in from what was a battle for 7th. The pit stop is 2.8, so it's a little bit better. But it's put us all the way back into 18th. So is this going to work out for us? Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look great right now, does it? What we could really use with 10 laps to go here is a safety car. I don't know if we're going to be lucky enough to get that. But it would certainly help things along, that's for sure. Yeah, maybe we did need to kind of stick it out a little bit. We'll see what sort of pace we have on these soft tyres, but we're going to need to be quite quick to get back to the points. Norris is 12 seconds up the road or so with 10 laps to go. So yeah, that's a bit of an ask, isn't it? Crawford stop. Let's see what he can do here. His stop is going to be 2.7, and he is stone motherless and quite a ways last as well. We've just not had the pace here, have we? Alright, now Sargeant has caught the back of this train quite quickly. I'm not sure if he's going to quite manage to get fastest lap. No, he got held up a little bit too much at the end there. So that's a bit of a shame. We kind of caught everybody way quicker than I thought we were going to. But this is the advantage we're going to have now on soft tyres against aging mediums and very aging hards. Can we slice through and get ourselves back into the points? We've got to be half a chance, maybe? Maybe? Who knows? There's a few laps to go yet. But we're going to need to be very decisive in our overtaking here, Logan. So the problem that we very much have here is that we're stuck in a DRS train. Yeah, we're just stuck. Everybody's tyres, I mean, they're all knackered, and we just can't do anything with the extra pace that we have. because yeah, we're stuck in the DRS train. You're fine on fuel, mate. You're fine on fuel. Alright, so we're using a bit of ERS here to try and get a move done on Guan Yu Zhou. This needs to happen, Logan. It does. Alright, so we can go back to Harvest. And that is one more. We're going to just have to try and be a little bit more aggressive, I suppose, on how we use everything here. Let's go overtake. Come on, let's get this done, Logan. No, we just don't have the battery power. That's the issue we're going to have here, isn't it? 3 laps to go. I mean, that's only 11th up there. We've got to go another 7 seconds to get to Norris. So I think even if we were to be able to do it, they get to the front of this line in 3 laps, we're not going to score a point. Alright, so we're coming around to start the final lap with Sargeant. I mean, it looks as though he is going to beat both Mercedes, so that's something. Look at K-Mag up there in 3rd as well, which is nice to see. Yeah, it just ultimately, I don't know. I don't know if what we should have done is just gone with the 1 stop. Our tyres would have been absolutely destroyed by the time we got to the end of the race, but we were there with Gasly, Vettel and Giovinazzi. Would Norris have caught us? I mean, ultimately we're talking about a point, aren't we? So it's not the end of the world either way. I think we have the pace to have got back and scored points. I think we've got a little bit unlucky that we've just got stuck in this DRS train and haven't been able to make our way through quick enough. So Sargeant 14th, Crawford, he will bring himself around here to finish dead last. And that is a home race for me to very much forget about. So Verstappen wins, Leclerc 2nd, good old K-Mag up there in 3rd. And yeah, Sargeant was the first of the 2 stoppers. So it was very much the wrong strategy, it looks like. But I'm not convinced Sargeant particularly is so bad on his tyres. I don't know that we would have done much better. I think we probably 10th would have been the maximum anyway. So yeah, I think we were damned if we did, damned if we didn't there. Ultimately, I just don't think the car was quite quick enough. So Sargeant drops down to 4th in the standings, and if we go and have a look at the constructors, we drop down 2 to 4th as well. So I'd be okay with 4th, to be honest, in the constructors this year, but Mercedes are behind us, which is a little bit troubling. And Alfa Romeo, if K-Mag can get 3rd in a race, they might have some pace in them as well. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. The next race, I believe, is San Marino, isn't it? The Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. We don't have any development points yet. Hopefully, we will have some for the time we get to the next race. And we should also have a new front and rear wing as well, which will help things along. So, yeah, if you've enjoyed that, thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, go and join the Facebook group, and I'll see you next time in San Marino. Take care.